After we announced my pregnancy, my sister-in-law's plan to humiliate me at my husband's party completely backfired, and it landed her in jail and in the middle of a divorce. For the last 7 years, I, 29F, have been married to Harry. Everything in our marriage is great except for one thing. His sister, Kayla. She is the source of almost all the negativity in our lives. I actually liked Kayla when I first met her. I really did. But over time my opinion changed fast. She is toxic, manipulative, and extremely negative. Because I know how she is, I've spent years trying to stay on her good side. When Harry was 17, he dated Kayla's best friend. But he eventually broke up with her because he felt pressured to be with her because of Kayla. Later, when he turned 23 and was single again, Kayla tried to push him toward another one of her friends. He refused, and she actually went crying to their parents, saying she wanted him to marry someone she felt comfortable with. His parents didn't really take her seriously, though. They barely listened to her during that dramatic meltdown. While Harry and I were falling in love, his parents were very supportive, but Kayla was always cold toward me. Whenever I was around, she would randomly bring up Harry's exes, talk about how great they were doing, and suggest that he reach out to them. This went on for a while. Harry also thought it was weird and told her to stop bringing up his exes. Whenever he called her out, she would get angry and start mocking me, saying I was jealous and that Harry shouldn't be with someone like me. She would even invite one of his exes to family dinners and pretend it was a coincidence, saying she just ran into them and had to politely invite them. She doesn't follow me, but she constantly watches my Instagram, since my account is public. She is always the first viewer of my stories. If a man comments on one of my photos, she immediately runs to Harry complaining that I'm posting indecent pictures. Harry and I would just laugh at her comments. When Harry and I decided to move in together, she tried to convince him to break up with me, saying I had many flaws as a woman, and that she could find someone much better for him. That really hurt, especially because I had always been nothing but kind to her. Things got even worse after we got engaged. When we announced the engagement, everyone congratulated us, except Kayla. She got up suddenly and left. Later, she called Harry screaming and crying, saying she deserved to be the first to hear the news because she was the closest person to him. Then she messaged me, practically threatening me, telling me how I should treat her brother because she had always been the only woman in his life. The message honestly creeped me out. I left her on scene, which I know made her even angrier. But I didn't bother replying, grieving losing her brother to another woman. My husband confronted her about her outfit at the reception, and she tried to flip the story, saying she had the right to wear whatever she wanted and that I was controlling. She kept making scenes non-stop. Eventually, my in-laws told her to leave. It was humiliating. Since that day, I've avoided her. When my son Nate was born, I refused to let her near him. She tried to fight it, but Harry's parents completely supported me. They understood exactly why I didn't want her around my baby. 2 years ago, she had a miscarriage with her then-boyfriend, Jamie, and it devastated her. It was a truly sad time, and even though things were tense between us, Harry and I felt bad for her. So we eased up a bit after that. We let her see Nate and invited her to our home occasionally. Despite everything between us, she was surprisingly sweet to our son. It was honestly shocking. She seemed like she had changed at first. But over time she slipped right back into her old ways. She constantly talks about how hard her life is, how nothing ever works out for her, and she always blames someone. Ex-friends, bosses, whoever. I've realized that in her mind, she is never wrong. She is always trying to get people. She is always trying to get people on her side by playing the victim and almost never admits she's wrong during confrontations. This year, she decided to get married and invited everyone except us, even though our relationship had seemed to improve. Harry was shocked when he found out we weren't invited. When he asked her why, she said she wasn't going to let me come because I would cause a disturbance at her wedding. Since I had never done anything to her, I called and asked why she thought that. Kayla then admitted that she had deliberately worn all black to our wedding, and now she was worried that I might do the same to hers. That was her reason for keeping me away. I told my husband directly that she was being manipulative. He was furious. After talking with his parents, Harry told Kayla that not only would they not attend the wedding, They also would not be paying for it. Kayla burst into tears and started blaming me for ruining everything. Her fiancé told her she had no right to blame me when she had openly admitted what she did. Kayla tried to justify herself by saying I should just get over it, because my wedding was a long time ago. Later, she contacted me to apologize and ask for forgiveness, especially because my in-laws still refused to pay for her wedding. And I'll admit it, when Kayla wants something, she can be very charming and convincing. I decided to just move forward and forgave her. Her wedding to Jamie went smoothly. We all attended and we actually had a good time. But not even 6 months later, Kayla showed up at our door complaining that her marriage was falling apart. Harry and I let her stay with us for a few days. She spent hours venting about her husband. They were struggling to conceive, and Kayla was clearly blaming Jamie for everything. When I tried talking with her about it, she insisted it was entirely her husband's fault. She became hyper-focused on our lives and tried to invent problems that didn't exist whenever she wasn't complaining about him. For example, every morning before work I go to the gym. When I'm running, sometimes when I'm running late, I grab my work clothes with me so I can finish my workout, shower, and then change into my business clothes at the gym. Kayla noticed this for a while and started asking lots of questions: why I was showering there, why I even needed to go to the gym, things like that. I didn't think much of it and just told her I like maintaining my weight and don't like showing up to the office all sweaty. She would just nod and then literally lick her lips. One day, during lunch, my mother-in-law was telling us about a friend of hers who was getting divorced. The friend left her husband and took half his assets after discovering he cheated. Kayla suddenly interrupted her to ask Harry whether he and I had signed a prenup before getting married. We both froze and just stared at her. We stopped eating. She looked straight at Harry, completely ignoring me, waiting for his answer. Harry told her directly, he doesn't mince words, that both of us earn good money and didn't feel any need for a prenup. Kayla snorted and said he could be blindsided any day, because cheaters are everywhere now. That offended me, so I asked her to clarify exactly what she meant. She then claimed it was obvious I was seeing someone because I always carried a change of clothes, and that as his sister it was her duty to warn her brother. I was shocked. My father-in-law and mother-in-law immediately stepped in and told her to stop making things up and to stay out of other people's marriages. Without missing a beat, Kayla kept insisting she was just trying to protect her brother, and then actually joked about whether our son Nate was really Harry's, since he doesn't quite look like him. I saw my husband's face turn bright red with anger. I have never seen him that enraged. Looking straight at Kayla, he told her that she was not a mother, because she didn't deserve to be one, and that any child of hers would be better off in heaven than being raised by someone like her. Kayla just stared, stunned, with her mouth open. My in-laws stayed silent while Harry went on, calling her shameless for trying to destroy other people's lives because she had nothing going for her own. He said she was a loser who did nothing all day while her husband worked nonstop, and that she was just projecting her own problems. He told her to focus on her own marriage instead of accusing me and asking about prenups. Kayla burst into tears, wailing and looking around for comfort. She turned to Jamie, who was sitting right next to her, but he didn't say a word. Harry almost never loses control like that, but this time he had clearly had enough. Kayla eventually jumped up and ran to the bathroom. My husband was still fuming. I held his hand, and my mother-in-law came over to calm him down. He apologized for what his sister had said about our son. After everything I had endured from Kayla over the years, I actually felt relieved to see him defend me so openly. He apologized to Jamie, but completely ignored Kayla once he had cooled off. After lunch that day, we went back to having zero interaction with Kayla. Her behavior was affecting not just me but my husband too. So we simply cut her off from everything and told her she could only contact us after she got herself together. After lunch, my mother-in-law and father-in-law talked with us and agreed that Kayla had gone too far this time. They saw how their normally calm son had completely snapped because she kept pushing him. We last spoke to her about a year ago, and honestly, everything has been peaceful since then. 2 months ago I found out I was pregnant. Since we weren't even trying, it was a complete surprise, and a huge blessing. We wanted to announce the news on my husband's birthday, because we thought it would be the perfect moment. To celebrate Harry, my in-laws hosted a big backyard party and invited close friends and family. Somehow, Kayla heard about it from others and decided to show up. When my husband and I saw her, we froze. She walked straight to Harry, hugged him, and said how much she missed him and how sorry she was about their last argument. My husband took my hand and told his sister she needed to apologize to me too, because she had attacked my character. Kayla nodded, looked at me, and apologized. She said she had been going to therapy for months and finally understood how wrong her behavior toward me had been. I didn't really believe everything she was saying, but I nodded anyway. I wanted to be polite in front of everyone, especially since this was Harry's day. My in-laws pulled us aside and said that if we felt uncomfortable, they would make her leave, since they hadn't known she was coming. Harry didn't want to create a scene, so we decided to just let it go. It was strange watching Kayla laughing and socializing like nothing had ever happened. Because she mentioned therapy, I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, even though her overly cheerful attitude didn't feel like her at all. Later, Harry gave a beautiful speech about how he felt like the luckiest man on earth, and was grateful for another year with a woman like me. When it came time to cut the cake, his words made me blush the same way I did when we first started dating. I couldn't help but think about how deeply in love we still were. Then we decided to share our big news. Smiling, we announced that we were having a baby. There was a moment of silence. Then everyone shouted with happiness. My mom hugged me and cried. My father-in-law hugged Harry, tears in his eyes. People asked about baby names and were genuinely thrilled for us. Kayla was the only one who stood out. She looked shocked, her face changed completely, and she turned away, clearly irritated. I assumed she was just processing everything slowly, though part of me worried she might ruin another one of our celebrations. I got distracted talking with guests. I stood up to help carry food, but Harry and my parents told me to sit down and rest, saying I shouldn't be lifting anything. Then Kayla walked over to me, smiling. I was sitting calmly, waiting for my husband to bring me a plate of food. Kayla came over, all upbeat, and said she personally wanted to serve me dinner because she was so excited about my pregnancy. She handed me a plate and said that she wanted to make it up to me for all the times she'd treated me badly before. I nodded and politely accepted it. She turned and walked away. I was about to start eating when I noticed shrimp on the plate. I'm severely allergic to shrimp, so I was surprised she gave it to me at all. Disappointed, I shook my head, stood up, and went to get myself another plate. Jamie walked over to congratulate me on my pregnancy. After chatting for a moment, he asked why I wasn't eating. I pointed out that Kayla had given me shrimp, probably by accident. He told me not to worry and took the plate from my hands, saying he liked shrimp and would eat that one, and that I could just grab a fresh plate. I smiled, agreed, and turned away. Within about 5 minutes, Jamie suddenly started vomiting and gagging all over his plate. Everyone stopped eating and stared as he stumbled out of his chair. Harry and Kayla rushed toward him. Jamie pointed at his plate and then at his throat. We all realized something was very wrong. Jamie collapsed. Everyone gasped. Kayla ran to look at the plate, and when she saw it, her eyes went wide. She turned to me and asked if I had given Jamie my plate. I said yes. Someone called an ambulance. He was rushed to the hospital. Kayla cried nonstop, glaring at me the whole time. Later, we were told Jamie had been poisoned. Since the plate was originally meant for me, I almost fainted. Whatever he ate could have poisoned my baby and me, and no one yet knew what had been in the food that caused him to collapse. The police were called to collect evidence. Jamie is still in the hospital recovering as I'm writing this. Kayla stayed with him overnight. Our relatives keep calling, asking what happened and who could have poisoned him. My husband and I are the ones answering all the calls. My in-laws are shaken and are staying at our house because they're scared to go back home after everything that happened. The fact that the plate was originally mine, and that Kayla was the one who gave it to me, terrifies me. If this turns into a full investigation, I'll have to tell the police exactly what happened. More importantly, I'm scared of what my sister-in-law might be capable of. I feel awful about what happened and I don't want to be around her. I can't imagine ever letting my kids near her, because she clearly has no limits. I also feel guilty knowing I handed Jamie the plate, the one that may have been meant for me. Update 1. Whoa, thank you for the thousands. Update 1. Wow, there were thousands of comments on my post within just a few hours. I never imagined I'd get so many responses. I wrote the original post with shaking hands, and I still haven't been able to sleep. Even after reading everything people have said, I still feel partly responsible for what happened to Jamie. I keep thinking I should have just thrown the plate away. I don't know why I let him take it from me. I keep crying when I think about his future and what he's going through. My husband has been staying very close to me, but he doesn't know everything I know about his sister. He thinks I'm just worried in general, and I am, but I also know more than he does right now. I agree with the comments saying I need to sit down and talk to everyone calmly, though I don't know if everyone will believe me. My in-laws have security cameras all around their house, and since the party was in the backyard, I'm confident the cameras will show that Kayla was the one who handed me the plate. I'm going to talk to everyone tonight and then I'll update again. Update 2. We talked and I truly feel like I have the best in-laws on the planet. Since my mother-in-law and father-in-law were already staying with us, I sat down with them and Harry at dinner and told them I had something important to share. I took a deep breath. The whole situation felt like it was sitting on my shoulders, and everyone gathered around. I explained everything that happened at the birthday party, including how Kayla gave me the plate with shrimp, and how Jamie accidentally ate from it and became sick. Their shock and disbelief matched my own as I spoke. My in-laws looked at each other, clearly worried. Harry's face shifted from confusion to anger. I went on to tell them how scared I was about Kayla's intentions, and about her history of trying to hurt me. I hesitated to share some of it, because of how serious this is, especially for me and our unborn baby. My mother-in-law, being the practical person she is, immediately said we should look at the security camera footage. My father-in-law agreed, though he was obviously shaken. Harry stayed quiet, trying to process what I was telling him. We checked the footage through their camera app, and it was undeniable. The video shows Kayla handing me the plate, and then everything that followed leading to Jamie getting sick. There was no room left for doubt. Once the reality set in, emotions ran high. Harry, now fully aware of his sister's intentions, struggled to control his anger. My in-laws were horrified by what their daughter had done, shocked by how far she was willing to go just to cause chaos. We sat there stunned, trying to understand why she would do something like this. Given how serious this is, my in-laws decided to turn everything over to the police. Since Jamie is the victim, he's the one who will need to file official charges against Kayla, so my father-in-law and my husband will go talk to him once he recovers. I feel like crying every time I think about the fact that I let Jamie take that plate. I don't know how he'll react when he hears everything. I'm so anxious that I can barely eat or sleep. I'll update again if anything major happens. Update 3. Alright everyone. I'm finally back with an update. I know it's been about a month since the last one. Right now I'm a pregnant woman going through a lot right now. First of all, Kayla was arrested after the police reviewed the evidence. My in-laws gave them the security recording, and when she was confronted, she immediately admitted everything. She didn't even try to deny it. She just broke down crying. Jamie was as shocked as the rest of us when my husband explained what happened. My husband assured him that he would always be part of our family no matter what he decided to do. But he also encouraged him to press charges because what Kayla did was truly terrible. After Jamie recovered, he not only decided to press charges, but he also filed for divorce. Kayla tried calling my mother-in-law and father-in-law, crying and begging them to forgive her. She also revealed that she is pregnant and tried to emotionally manipulate them by saying they should help her, for the sake of their grandchild. My father-in-law told her very firmly that she needed to finally face the consequences of her actions, and that they were done protecting her. My mother-in-law is heartbroken, but even she knows this cannot just be brushed aside. The police found proof that she deliberately tampered with the food meant for me, which backfired and harmed her own husband. She has been charged with multiple crimes including endangering life, causing injury, and food tampering. She kept trying to blame me, but thankfully Jamie is determined to hold her accountable. Her court case began shortly after, and I doubt she will escape consequences this time. My son and I are doing well, and he knows nothing about what his aunt did. My husband and I have decided that, when the time is right, we will sit down with him and explain the truth in an age-appropriate way. It will be a hard conversation, but it's necessary. As for my pregnancy, I'm getting regular ultrasounds every 2 weeks as my doctor recommended. We want the baby's gender to be a surprise, so we aren't finding out in advance. My parents have become very protective of me after everything that happened and are encouraging me to get therapy because they worry this stress could affect my mental health. I agree with them. Even though I act normal, I have developed a deep fear of eating anything I didn't make myself. I avoid outside food completely. I know it's irrational, but what happened really affected me. My husband understands this and is helping me work through it. For the latest update, as of 8 months later, Kayla is in prison. She was found guilty. I didn't attend the hearings, but my in-laws told me that she confessed in court to years of jealousy toward me. She admitted that she had always dreamed that one of her best friends would marry her brother. So when he started dating me, she tried to make my life miserable because she didn't want an outsider in the family. When we announced at my husband's birthday party that we were expecting, especially since she was also pregnant, her jealousy spiraled completely out of control. She explained in court that she had wanted to reveal her own pregnancy that day. She had gone through a miscarriage before, so this news meant everything to her. She said she felt that we stole her moment when we announced our pregnancy first, and that jealousy and anger took over. Mixed with pregnancy hormones, she made a terrible decision. She admitted to putting a small amount of rat poison into my food. She claimed she only wanted me to end up in the hospital so I would be taught a lesson, and insisted she never meant to seriously hurt me or the baby. She also argued that she deserved a lighter sentence because she never imagined I would hand the plate to her husband, and that I basically poisoned him. Of course, the judge rejected all of that. She was sentenced to prison and will be out of our lives for a long time. Jamie is finally free now that the divorce is finalized. We've seen him several times since then and always include him in family gatherings. When we talked, I apologized over and over for handing him my plate, wishing I could go back and prevent what happened. He told me it was never my fault. Hearing that brought me to tears, but knowing he is doing well now makes me genuinely happy. As for Harry and me, our family has grown. We now have a beautiful baby daughter. Her arrival has filled our lives with warmth and light, even though the shadows of what happened still exist in the background. Our son Nate loves being a big brother. He is gentle, protective, and absolutely adores his little sister. Watching our children bond has made us appreciate the good things in life even more. Our parents and in-laws have supported us through everything and have helped us move into this new chapter. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more real-life stories like this one.